Hey Rudy, here is just a walkthrough on all these kind of more hip 251 voicings. Yeah, I'll just start with example one. This example you can play in two locations, and that's always a good thing to have in your trick bag, not just relying on one spot to play a progression in. So here we go, D minor 11th. This is G13 flat 9. And that's, again, we're getting into some more alterations of the 5 chord to create tension. So the 13th is here, the flatted ninth was there. And then I use one of the drop 2s for the resolution. So D minor 11 has a ninth as well. G7 flat 9, G13 flat 9. Okay, and then we go here. Okay, now the other location on this is I can play that here. We're building off the 3rd scale degree of F. I bar it, and then we're going to play. This is actually a way easier way to play the G13 flat 9, because it's basically an E major triad over F. So the 7th is in the bass. Okay, there we go. And then I use that angular drop 2. So here we go. Okay, and then also kind of like the timbre there in that middle string grouping. Okay, so example 2, we have a D minor 9. So this is an additional, it's like a drop 2 voicing, but we're just adding a little color. Okay, then I'm going to do G7 flat 9. Okay, so this is a lot like the drop 2 we used here, but we're adding tension by the ninth would be the A natural. We add the flat 9 there. So we get those inner voices. And then the chord that I played after that is this. And you can think of it as a G triad over C. And that gives us a lot of color for the major 7. It gives us the ninth, which is the D, we get the 5th, and then the major 7th. There's always secret built-in triads to chords that aren't as obvious as it might seem. So this one, example 2, G7 flat 9, and then the C major 9 or whatever you want to call it. Okay, example 3, we're going to be way up here kind of in the 13th and 15th fret range. This is also a D minor 11th. Okay, and then here we're going to lower this finger down, and it gives us a G13 kind of a sound. The 13th is going to be on your, no, it's a G, I'm sorry, I called it G13. It's actually G9. So there's a mistake on the handout. Now you'll see this has one of those pivot notes where you can actually change and pivot this note here. So you can do either or both. You can go, and that gives us the flatted ninth. There's the A flat, which is the flatted ninth, which is a tense note before we resolve. Now it's a flat 9 resolution. Flat 9 resolution. There's the resolution to the 5th, and a flat 9 will always resolve to the 5th of a tonic if it moves in that fashion. And then I played that for my drop 2. So that example 3 in totality. Okay, cool. So example 4 we actually went over in the lesson. This is the one where I do a tritone substitution. So we substitute D flat 9 for the G7. So D minor 9, and then we do D flat 9, and that's juicy. And then the C major 9, I call that the John Mayer chord because he uses that one a lot. Okay, I'm kind of noodling around, as you can see. Here's some lines kind of sprinkled in with these chords. Okay, so let's get into example 5, 6, and 7. Now, you'll see a little note here on the sheet that says these are more triad-based. And These have some movements in them where I was talking to you about voices kind of moving within the framework of a chord. So this one I start with D minor 11, and then I'm going to go back to that. So I'm going to go ba for D minor. Then we're going to go to a triad without the bass note. That's G13. The bass would be there, but we're not playing it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the 13th, and I'm going to do a sharp 5 or a flat 13, however you want to look at it. And then we're going to go to, where do I go? Yeah, then I use that, it's the C major 9, but I'm just not playing the bass note. A lot of times we don't even need to play the bass. So we have, I'm actually going to play this where I'm barring. So I go pinky, and then I go to that note, so you get that nice motion. And that's what you hear on top, but then you have all the voices underneath that to support in harmony. And I've used several different fingerings for this already, so you figure out what works for you, because it's a little angular. You can do it a number of ways. So that's example 5. Example 6 is I keep using the D minor 11th, so it has the G in there, which is the 11th in relation, or 4th in relation to D minor. Okay, then we're going to use the Jimi Hendrix chord, but again, because we're playing these as triads, I'm eliminating the bass note and just playing the upper structure of the chord. Okay, and then G7 sharp 9, no bass note. Now this we can do sharp 9, flat 9. That's where you see that pivot note in the handout on example 6 on the G7 sharp 9. So it has a pivot, and then we're going to go to that. It's actually an E minor triad. But if I put a C in the bass, then you have a C major 7th. So we have ma, be, da, ma. Okay, and then example 7, this is one of my personal favorites. Now this is a stretcher. You're going to bar the 10th fret. Your pinky's going to go up to the 14th fret. So you get a minor second, quite dissonant, but when I add the rest of it, so the notes on this are you have the 9th, you have the 3rd, and the 5th of D minor. Again, there's no bass note. We're assuming our bass player in our ensemble may be playing that, so we don't want to be overkill. So we're going to add some of those juicy notes. Okay, then we're going to take this structure and I'm going to move the pinky up 1 to the 15th fret, and then the bar will move up to the 12th fret. And then I can add the flat 9 if I so choose. And that's nice. So we get, and then what did I do? Do that G triad over C again, which we played here. Oops, crap. We played it there, here. The sameness. So we're playing things in multiple spots. The same chord. Oops, I keep messing that up. Hear that? It's the same thing in a different position. Different fingering too. In this case, the triad gets barred there. So this example again. Okay, I'm trying to get my other fingers out of the way. Then we're going to slide that up. So I'm playing in tempo. Okay, so I tried to noodle a little bit so you could hear how the sound of jazz, I'm integrating chords and lines, and that's where that Aebersold book And then learning all these hip voicings, you'll start to see correlations between the way those lines are resolving and the chords that you're playing, especially the dominant chord, the 5 chord, and the alterations that we can make. So hopefully this video is helpful. Just try to play all these in tempo, you know. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going back to example 1. Now I'm going to do that next position. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Example 2 in tempo. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2. Example 2 again. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Here comes example 3. Yeah. Oops, I screwed up. I was trying to talk and play at the same time. But anyway, I'm just demonstrating that's the end goal, is to be able to play these in tempo. So good luck. Have fun with these hip 2-5-1s, Rudy.